dogs, my masterminders. Hey, want to show you how to create your own vortex of attention using a 3x chord. Say, Marlon, what, pray tell, is a vortex of attention? By the way, if you watch this live, type live. You watch on a replay, type replay. Watch the bitter end, type bitter end, number one. Number two, if you do not have my report on how I sold 70,000 products online, go to resellertoolkit.com/70 with the letter K. So here we go. You plus two others. The Bible says, we'll see if I can even remember the quote. Said, I think a chord, this was like in the book of Proverbs, I think a chord of three is not easily broken, something like that. I can't get the exact quote. Need more coffee this morning. But the idea is one string is easily broken. If you're out there by yourself, you ain't got any, you don't have a mastermind. You don't have much vortex to get attention. Ideally, I am saying ideally, you have a mastermind of three or more people. You come together, you create products, and then depending on the situation, you all own the rights to the products and market them however you want, and you make each other famous. Now, the typical thing becomes, well, let's put it on an associate program and then we'll all make money on it and blah, blah, and it just falls apart. Like it just becomes too this is just my experience. It just becomes too complex. Now, on the other hand, you have to have two or three other people who are actually going to promote the product, because you are probably the one who's going to have to write the sales page for it. You're probably the one who's going to have to organize it. You're the one who's going to have to put the energy into it. If you're the only one who puts energy into it and the others just freeload and don't promote it, you got nothing, dog. You got nothing. And you also got to get two or three other people who, like, you have synergy with to some degree with ideas and synergy as a person, and you like maybe their philosophy, but then frankly, they also need a list. I mean, they need to have a little bit of clout, because like they can be the coolest person in the world, but if they got no list, they really can't bring any leverage to the situation. You following me? You with this? I think Brian G. Johnson would say, you dig? You gotta love Brian G. If you don't watch Brian G on YouTube, you're missing out. I'm just saying. You don't watch Brian G on YouTube, you're missing out. So listen, I'll tell you a story. Back when I was a copywriter at National Response Corporation, in a little office, making a very modest salary. It is where I met my mentor, though, which was cool, Lou Williams, but and his wife Anita, God rest their souls. But I met a guy named Jonathan Mizell, and the way I met him was I introduced his products to Phil, and Phil, who owned the company, needed some products to sell, and he sold some of Jonathan's products, and they sold well. All right. He had a thing called Marketing Firepower, which is a collection of his newsletters. We always joked, he's like, Marketing Firepower doesn't exist. I don't even know what it is. It's just a collection of my newsletters. Sold a lot of those Marketing Firepowers. This was way back. As an aside, his top reseller was Sanford Wallace. Sanford Wallace was the infamous spam king, who had a great sense of humor, was really a cool guy. He just, probably didn't change when it was time to change, In any event, So one day, Jonathan calls me up and he said, "Hey, Sanders, you want to go speak at an event in San Francisco? They're paying $1,000 or $2,000." I'm like, "Yeah, Jonathan, I'll go. It's $2,000. I'll be there, dog. I'll go." And hey, Tom, how are you? That's cool. And so good luck on your surgery coming up, Tom. I know it's what, the 16th. You all pray for Tom. He has a serious heart surgery coming up like on the 16th or 22nd or 16th. So anyway, we go and we speak. He invited another guy named Declan Dunn. So we together did this seminar. But now here's the twist. The seminar was put on by Madison York. Madison York was affiliated with the company I was a copywriter for, sent them basically all of their traffic from their 900 number seminars. So there was a connection there, right? Well, anyway, Madison York was a big time promotion company, right? The company we spoke for, IMAL, was later sold for $1 billion to Excite. And so anyway, Jonathan, Deck, and I would go in a studio, record products, and we would all sell it. Of course, we did 100-something seminars together and so forth because of this company. But my point is, Napoleon Hill talks about the power of a mastermind. Napoleon Hill talks about the power of my mastermind. And you need a couple other people with a list who can promote. Now, let's say you got a little teeny tiny small list, and you got to partner with a couple other people that got teeny tiny lists. Maybe instead of just 2 others, you need 5 or 6 because y'all got teeny tiny lists. But you all make a product, you all promote it, and then you can build up each other's lists. Now, the way we did it was we didn't do a joint promotion and share leads and all of that crap, because then you're getting really low quality people on your list, in my opinion, who ain't really wanting to be on your list. The way we did it was simply it would make you well known because I had promoted, Declan had promoted, Jonathan promoted, and it got our names out there to a bunch of different lists, and it worked, right? It worked. Now, quite honestly, IM was a lot smaller world than it is now. So then it was a lot easier to make your reputation because it was just a smaller. It was easier to be a big fish in a small pond because the pond was a lot smaller. Today, it's like a freaking ocean. And so it takes more to get through the noise. But I still have a fundamental belief that if you can partner up and keep partnering up on products with 2 or 3 other people, and maybe you rotate the 2 or 3 others, it'll work. Now, what I've tried to do that did not work was to just try to get together a team of 2 or 3 other guys that would do products and promote them and just do multiple products together. And so it didn't work out. And the reason it didn't work out, well, I don't know about that guy. I don't like that guy. He does something. I don't think he's blah, blah, blah. I don't want to be associated with him. Blah, 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 blah. All of that crap, right? And so, but I think for a one-time off product, which is like, listen, I've interviewed the guy. You can listen. I got his transcript. I'll send you over. It's a great transcript. You'll love the content. All I need is you to participate. You sell it to your list. He'll sell it to his list. I'll sell it to my list. At worst, we all become better known. Now, we also did this with a lady who, God rest her soul, passed away, named Teresita Debrio. I miss Teresita. And what happened was she would came in then and made some products with us. She sold more to tech. Teresita was cool though. She was really good at selling, and she just saw the value of it. She got it. Like a lot of people just don't get it, right? Like, I don't know. They're like so selfish and just so into themselves or whatever. They got so much going on. They just can't. Now, I mean, you'd have to watch the quality. You want to bring somebody in who's known for scamming people or something. And again, if they have a crappy list or they just have a list of people that you're like, I don't want these, like, let's say they got a list of hardcore biz op seekers. Like, now I personally don't want hardcore biz op seekers on my list because I could sit here and talk about an hour of why I'm not fond of hardcore biz op seekers. You probably don't want somebody that's only got a list of hardcore biz op seekers doing this with you, right? But so I wouldn't be overly picky about your partners, right? But if you're just trying to get attention and you ain't got any vortex of attention, and maybe you just, again, you got a small list, partner up instead of 3 other people, maybe 5 others, and you got to make the whole deal happen. They ain't going to help make the deal happen. And the ideal thing is you all get on a call and then you just bang out like a product together, all 5 of you on a call. That's like herding cats. Here's what you get. Well, I ain't got any time available on my mail slot for the next 2 months, 3 months, bull, whatever. Come on, get real, right? I don't buy that. I don't believe it. If you're going to mail what's priority. You see, Les Brown says you got to be hungry. So you got to find people to do this who are hungry, right? But you make it happen. In other words, you interview the people one by one. You transcribe it. You write up the sales letter. You create all they got to do is promote it, right? Say, well, Marlon, I don't know. Writing a sales letter, that's awful hard. Well, you need to write more sales letters. You ain't wrote enough. You can write them in your sleep once you've written a lot of them, right? You probably do write them in your sleep some days. So this is it. It's a vortex of attention. It's a vortex of attention, right? Now, you never know what's going to happen. So Jonathan took couple of our things we recorded in the studio, and it had these creaky chairs and stuff. And we had to pay like, $100 an hour for the studio or something. And it had creaky chairs that would make a noise when you're recording. God, the guy didn't even have W-freaking-40. If I knew, I would have brought down my own WD-40. But in any event, nowadays you can just do it free, which makes it easier, right? But it's a vortex of attention. So you get now, but again, maybe you just rotate out people because if it's like, we're going to be a team and we're going to keep doing this, they don't want to do it. Now I'll tell you who did this in a big way. TJ Rollleader. He had Alan Bechtold on his team, God rest his soul. He had Gardner. He had Ted Siuba was in there. He had like 12 guys in there, 10 or 12 guys who were all serious marketers. And they would do a product and recording all at the same time. But, TJ would write up a extremely high-level pro sales letter. So they really got something nice out of it. There was a big incentive because you don't know anything about TJ. He can write a sales letter like nobody in a biz op market. There ain't anybody better than him in the biz op market. So, so let's just say, let's take 3 scenarios. Scenario number 1, you're a little dog. Go out and find however many little dogs you can get and create some products, and you all promote each other. If 5 little dogs all promote something, then 5 little dogs equal maybe a medium dog, right? And if you put an affiliate link on it, it could go crazy. Or what Jonathan did that I was going to tell you, took 3 or 4 of our speeches. He put them together and he called it Millionaire Marketing. And he sold resale PLR rights to it. And I swear, I think that's still in PLR sites. I think it's still in like PLR sites in the archives somewhere, right? That thing got passed around like there was no tomorrow. So you can sell PLR. It's not a bad idea because it really, everybody starts selling that thing then, or putting it in packages and thing just freaking goes crazy, right? I mean, we didn't even talk about doing that up front. John just said, well, I'm going to go sell PLR to it. And then I think he sold master PLR to a guy who would sell PLR to others. I was like, whatever, Jonathan, whatever. All we did was sit in a studio and record some stuff. And it ain't like we had, I mean, all of us, each of us would have like a little outline, but I think we gave each other the outline. We just talk from the outline. We were in a recording studio, and then we would all just pitch in. And it was actually, I enjoyed doing those days. Those were fun. It was, it was fun. All right. That's the idea. This is $1 million idea, right? Because you get a vortex of energy. Now, executing it is not easy. I'm just going to tell you right up front, executing it is not easy. Yeah, Marlon, I don't know. I'm going to promote it to my list or not. Like I said, I'm booked up till the second coming of Christ. I got it all on my calendar in Google. Yeah, well, let's see how many of those launches on Munchai come through when the launch date hits. I mean, you got a lot of launches on there that just don't happen, right? I mean, it's why I say it's BS. It's just crap. It's total crap because you can't plan out launches that far in advance because half of them fall through. You know it. I know it. They know it. They just don't want to be in on the deal. They just don't want to say no. Now, here's a secret. You may not be able to do it, but if you can bring in a bigger name than you are, it makes the deal. If you could bring in a bigger fish than you, who's a bigger fish than that other speaker you want to bring in, then they're going to come in on the deal because they want to meet the bigger fish. Now, that's the bigger fish theory. Now, to pull that off, you got to have a bigger fish. And, maybe you can get a bigger fish and maybe you can't. Walter Haley did this in his business and not making joint products, but promotions where the way Walter described it is he would walk into a meeting or a business or an office, and he would be the little guy sitting on the shoulder of Mr. Big, right? But everybody would suck up to him because they wanted to be able to meet Mr. Big. And Walter made a living doing that. Made hundreds of millions of dollars doing that. He was a pro, like a top level pro at being able to use status to meet other people. The way you meet somebody of status is you get someone of greater status on your side, right? So whoever he wanted to meet, he would get somebody of greater status on his side. Now, that's all really complicated. To do this method, you don't have to do that. All I'm trying to say is if you can get a bigger fish than you to be part of the little recording, it's going to go better because then other people are like, wow, so-and-so's involved. Well, okay, I guess I'll do it then, right? I got, so-and-so's on board. Now, I'll tell you a funny story. This was way back in Warrior Forum history, but I can't remember the guy's name. But a guy did this and created this product, and everybody promoted it. And the guy was a scammer, if I recall. I don't even remember his name, but so you got to be careful who's doing it and who you involve. Don't bring in somebody who's a scammer because, just as good people can create your reputation, a bad person can ruin your reputation, right? You don't want to be doing that. So that's the idea, guys. It'll work for all of you. Any of you who are like, well, I can't get anybody's attention. And that's harder today than it used to be. Let's be honest about it. You need a vortex. But, the thing is that typically your vortex is people where you are. If you got a small list, maybe you can barter something or have a friend who's a big fish who will come in on the deal. But typically it's going to be other small fish. But 5 small fish together equals one fish that's a lot larger because all 5 of you are together. So this is you individually but 5 of you together, you're substantial, right? 10 people together are really substantial, but trying to do this with 10 people is very difficult. It's basically at that point like a virtual summit. It takes a lot of energy and focus to organize it, orchestrate it, get people to participate and pull it off. I would personally probably try it. All right, guys, that's it. This is how you make your career. Hope it's useful to all of you. If you didn't hear the whole thing, you want to go back and listen to it, because this is the kind of thing I normally wouldn't sell for less than $100. All right, y'all.